Hi, I'm Andrea. Thank you so much for joining me for this 30-minute yoga practice. I do happen to be standing on a yoga mat. If you don't have one, find a place in your house that's carpeted. Maybe you have a rug that can serve as your yoga mat for today. I have a folded blanket, very easy to substitute a big beach towel, perhaps the throw blanket from your couch, and yoga blocks. Could be a couple of thick books if you've got those. And then we will start standing with our feet hip distance, our palms facing out, a slight bend in our knees. Mountain pose. It's the bedrock of all poses, and it's the best place for us to find the arrows of attention turning inward. We feel majestic, like a mountain. To invite some stillness and to bring awareness to our breath. If you can, in and out through your nose. Let it catch at the back of your throat, soft palate maybe, and create a little sound like a seashell, if you want to play with that style of breathing. We stop so that we can start just pausing. Now let's add some movement to that breath, facing the short edge of your mat or imagining what that might be with what you're using for your yoga mat. Inhale, arms out and up, thumbs to the sky, a V. Exhale, hinge at your hips and take your hands to your thighs for this first one. Use the traction of your hands on your thighs to inhale and uplift your heart. Think longest spine you can find. Exhale, hinge at your hips. And then inhale, rise, reach, thumbs to the sky, a V, and float your arms along your side, palms face out, back to our mountain. Again, inhale, arms out and up, thumbs to the sky, a V. Exhale, hinge at your hips and hands onto your thighs. Maybe they slide down towards your shins. What I don't want is a rounding to get forward. So think hinge at your hips, elongation of your spine, and then inhale, uplift your heart. I like to slide my hands up my shins as I do that. And exhale, fold back in, but do keep that length in your spine. Then inhale, rise, reach, thumbs to the sky, a V shape. Stand in your mountain, palms face out. Let's try that again. Inhale, arms out and up, thumbs to the sky, a V. Exhale, hinge at your hips, hands to thighs or shins or maybe even ankles. Inhale, uplift your heart. Exhale, fold back in. And then inhale, rise, reach, thumbs to the sky, V shape, and stand in your mountain, palms face out. We'll add on. Inhale, arms out and up, thumbs to the sky, V. Exhale, hinge at your hips, hands to thighs, shins, or ankles. Inhale, uplift your heart. Exhale, fold in and bend your knees deeply enough that you can get your palms flat, your hands flat on the ground. Once they're flat, step back to down dog. Let's take a moment to create a down dog that makes sense in our bodies. So sometimes stepping wider, like as wide as your mat, is helpful. I want you to push into your mat so it's not a crumble of shoulders into ears. Your arms are straight. The inner upper arms are spinning out in front of you. There's a hook in your tailbone lifting your hips high and pulling that tailbone as if it could get to where your ceiling and wall meet. Walk your feet forward all the way back to your hands. Inhale, hands to shins, ankles, or thighs, uplifting your heart. Exhale, fold yourself back in. And then inhale, rise, reach, thumbs to the sky, a V, and stand, palms face out in your mountain. We'll keep adding some friends to our sun salutation. Inhale, arms out and up, thumbs to the sky, V. Exhale, hinge at your hips and hands to thighs or shins or ankles. Inhale, uplift your heart. Exhale, fold back in, bend your knees, palms need to be sturdy and flat, and then we step back The hook finds its way into our tailbone. We push the ground away and make sure we're not crumbled into our shoulders. And now let's add the friend of shifting to a plank with our shoulders over our wrists, and then glide back, tailbone to the sky, down dog. Back and forth we go like that a few times. So inhaling, shoulders over wrists, and exhaling, the hook in our tailbone draws us off of our hands back towards the back edge of our mat. We'll do that one more time, inhaling into our plank and exhaling back into our down dog. Walk your feet forward to your hands. Inhale, hands on shins, ankles, or thighs as you uplift your heart, and then exhale, fold in. Rise, reach, thumbs to the sky. We inhale, and then hands, palms face out, arms along your side. Inhale, arms out and up, thumbs to the sky, V. Exhale, hinge at your hips, hands to thighs, shins, ankles. Inhale, uplift your heart. Palms flat, step it carefully to down dog. From down dog, shift it to plank. Bring your knees to your mat, firm through your belly, shoulders over wrists. Elbows brush your ribs as we bend our elbows and lower our belly onto the ground. Once we're there, uncurl your toes. Make it Sphinx pose, forearms on your mat, tractioning your heart through the gateway of your arms. Lower down, curl your toes under, and come through all fours. From all fours, down dog. Remember that our priority is a long spine, so the hook finds its way into your tailbone, and then walk your feet forward to your hands. Inhale, hands to shins, ankles, or thighs. Exhale, fold back in. Inhale, rise, reach, thumbs to the sky, a V, and then stand, palms face out. Let's organize mindfully our props, and we'll be stepping out to the long edge of our mat. So first, take your 2 blocks and put them not on your mat, but just off the edge of your mat so they're within reach, and let them be on either side of that long edge. And then step out wide on your mat, thumbs to the sky as we reach out, and we start with ankles underneath our wrists. So that's a good starting point for alignment, and then we'll refine. Turn your right leg out so that your right foot faces the short edge of your mat, and then cheat your left heel at a 45-degree angle. Thumbs to the sky as our arms outreach, we bend our front knee, and if you note that your knee is going in front of your ankle, like mine is, scoot a little bit more space front and back into the equation, and then straighten your front leg, V-shape your arms overhead, let that be your inhale, and bend your front knee, exhaling, arms outreach. We'll go back and forth like a dance. Inhale, arms overhead, front leg straight, exhale, bend your front knee. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale and exhale. And then last time, inhale. Bend your front knee, exhaling, and keep breathing here in Warrior 2. Imagine that your right thigh bone is trying to make its way to the right, but your right hip bone is trying to make its way underneath you towards the left. 3 moments. If it's too long, either with your knee bent or your arms outstretched, you can always lower your arms or straighten your front leg. 3 moments of silence here together. Slow motion, straighten your front leg, lower your arms, turn all of your toes to face that long edge of your mat, and then turn your left leg out so that your left foot is facing the short edge of your mat. Cheat your right heel back, thumbs to the sky. Our stance should be okay from the first side. Bend your front knee. Just double check to see that there's a vertical line from your left knee to your left ankle, and then straighten your front leg. Inhale, bend your front knee, exhale. We'll do that a few times. Straighten your front leg, inhale, bend your front knee, exhale. 2 more times. Inhale and exhale. Last one, straightening our leg, and then when we bend our front knee, we'll stay with it. Remember, thumbs to the sky, Left knee feels like it's trying to go to your left. Left hip is trying to tuck underneath you as if it could to the right. And I drop you into some silence here. 2 more. Slow motion, straighten your front leg and lower your arms. Turn all toes to face the long edge of your mat. And then turn your right leg out. So same idea as where we just came from. Bend your front knee, thumbs to the sky, we pause. Right forearm across your thigh, left arm to the sky, thumb to the sky. You've got your right knee over your right ankle. We're not crumbled or collapsed into our right shoulder. And we want to think of swinging that right hip to the left a little bit. You might even venture your right hand onto that tall block that's within reach on the outside of the right side of your mat. But if that's too far down, forearm across the thigh is perfect. Let's stay here and breathe. Three moments. Now come upright into warrior two. Straighten your front leg. Make sure that this prop goes out of your way for your second side. All toes face the long edge of our mat. Then we turn our left leg out so that our left foot is facing the short edge of our mat. Cheat our right heel back at 45 degrees and bend our left knee. Left forearm across the thigh, right arm to the sky. Maybe left hand on that tall block that's within reach off the side of your mat. Left hand down, right arm up to the sky. Remember that your left thigh bone is pressing towards that left side of your mat. Your left hip is trying as if it could to go to the right. Two moments. And then carefully up to warrior two, we'll straighten our front leg, tend to our props, take that block off the left side of your mat, turn all toes to face that long edge of your mat. One more wide-legged posture for us. Ready? Turn your right leg out. This time, as you drag that left heel back at 45 degrees, we'll keep our legs straight, but I want to talk a little bit about what that feels like. So I don't want a locked out leg, that's not the intention. Before we even go into our triangle pose, press into your right big toe mound and feel how that gives you almost a wobbly sense of a straight leg, straight-ish. You can feel that your muscles are working. Arms out to the side, thumbs to the sky. We're not going to side bend. We're going to get sassy with our left hip lifting, a hinge at our right hip. We'll reach out. You might use your shin, but remember, you're not letting that lock the leg out. You can take your block and put it on the outside of your right foot. You might even use the seat of a chair underneath your right hand. We'll take a few moments to feel all the feels. So a stretch on our right hamstring and the inner part of our right leg. You might find that your left arm is tired. You can turn your thumb to face down and gently weave that arm behind your back. But we would like to get long in our right ribs, our bottom ribs, and rotate those right ribs towards the sky. 3 moments together here. If you have your arm behind your back, free that left arm up to the sky. Let's use this as our dismount. Look down at your right leg, bend your front knee so it's like a warrior two, move your block off to the side and come up to warrior two, straighten your front leg, turn all toes to face the long edge of your mat, Turn your left leg out. Cheat your right heel at 45 degrees. Before we do our second side, press into your left big toe mound. Get that feeling of like a wobbly, I'm using muscles straight, not a locked into joints kind of a straight. Arms out to the side. Remember, not side bending. Hip hinge, right hip lifts. We reach way out with our left hand. And we might find our shin, but we're super conscientious not to slam into hyperextension there. Likely block on the outside of your left foot, left hand down, right thumb to the sky, and we feel all the feels on this side. Three moments in silence. Remember our dismount. Look down and bend your left knee. Move your block off the side of your mat and come up to your warrior two briefly. Straighten that front leg, turn all toes to face the long edge of your mat. Heel toe until you're hip distance. We will arrange our props once again, and I will offer that some of you might prefer to do this next pose using the arm of your sofa or the back of a chair. It'll bring the ground up a little taller to you. You can also use your two blocks or your thick books, and you will place them, I'll face you so that it's easiest to see the construction of what I'm up to. We'll stand hip distance as if in our mountain. And first, let's warm up the feeling of a chair pose. So hip distance, parallel with our feet. Bend your knees like you're going to sit down into a small chair, and then stand and float your arms along your side, palm face out. Chair pose, thumbs to the sky. And then stand, palms face out. This time when you do your chair pose, stay and cross right ankle on top of left thigh. So an interesting balance. That's why maybe the arm of your chair or sofa would be good. Now bring a prayer in front of your heart and start to think about twisting to your left. And I find that I like to use my right hand on a block as I do that, and then thumb to the sky. You can keep your hands in a prayer. That might be best, or use that arm of your chair. We're not here long, just a few moments. Be sure to breathe. 2 more. Now, belly firm, come upright, leaving our twist, stepping our right foot down into our mountain and pausing. Chair pose, thumbs to the sky. Left ankle on top of right thigh now. Do your best. This is already interesting with balance. Hands in a prayer, or maybe hand on the arm of your chair. Turn to your right. It might be left hand now on your block. Right thumb to the sky, twisting. Enjoy your breath here. 3 moments. Then carefully unwind, step down with your left foot. Pause in your mountain, palms face out. We'll make our way to the floor. So blocks off to the side, facing that front edge of our mat with our feet hip distance. Inhale, arms out and up, thumbs to the sky, V. Exhale, hinge at your hips and hands to thighs or shins or ankles. Inhale, uplift your heart. Bend your knees deeply enough that your palms go flat, and you can step yourself into down dog. Remember the hook in your tailbone. Shift it towards plank, shoulders over wrists. Bend your knees, place your knees on your mat. Very firm belly, shift a little forward, slow motion all the way onto your belly, you go. Either Sphinx pose like we did before, with your forearms parallel to the ground, or to the sides of your mat, pardon me, or hands next to your ribs, but long, strong back bend. So not so much with our neck. Press into the tops of your feet. Feel your body get long and strong. And then release it down and come through all fours. So curl your toes under all fours. This time from all fours, come to seated. So we've made our way to the floor, and we're making our way into some of the more mellow postures, the closer to the ground poses. Just a moment ago, we did a standing figure four that was pretty dynamic and had a twist to it. We'll take that architecture into a seated version. So right ankle on top of left thigh, and that might be pretty tricky. So I will go sideways so it's a little easier to see me. You can go pretty far away with your left foot to situate your right ankle on top of your left thigh. If you're needing more sensation, the other thing is I was just doing a pretty good job of demonstrating a rounded spine that we don't want. So we want to sit tall and have our hands behind us. That's why making this approachable is really important. Maybe you bend your left knee and come in tighter, but we're all sitting tall, and you start to feel your right hip talk to you a little bit. Am I right? Give yourself what you need. Settle in, drop in. A few moments here. I think for some reason our music has dropped out, but it's sort of nice to just be silent. We'll take 30 seconds of silence here. Let's see if we can all get as still as my little dog over here. Carefully move yourself out of your figure four. We'll take the second side, and remember, one side might be really different from the other also, so you could step this right leg out quite far, left ankle on top of right thigh, and then for those who want to shorten it up a little bit, you do you. You're the expert of your own body. Remember, our priority is to not be rounded. We want to be sitting tall. So find the construction of this pose that allows you a nice, tall, long spine. And then we stretch. We stretch into our left hip, so that's going to sing to you a little bit. It's singing to you without music. And also, we're stretching our attention. So I'll drop out and give you 30 seconds of silence. And start to make your way out of this shape and sit in a wide-legged seat. So that might be where you bring in your folded blanket and then extend your legs wide out. Once again, we're not going for this business. So a bend in your knees so that you can find that nice long spine might be your way of doing this, and maybe hands just stay back behind you. You might begin to work those legs towards straight, and you might even introduce a hinge at your hips and a little bit of a wander forward, but no rounding. And as much as this is a pretty fantastic stretch of your hips, your inner thighs, your hamstrings, the big stretch is how flexible, wonderfully flexible you are, even if things, because we're live, like the music stops playing, and you're okay with it. You can breathe through it. That's the real stretch. That's where yoga comes in handy beyond what happens on our mat. It helps us be flexible off our mat. Things are not always going to go our way or as planned. So let's stretch into the grace, just like we're stretching into our hamstrings and hips. Thirty more seconds of silence. And then walk your hands back in if you walked them out. Help it along. Take your hands on the outsides of your thighs. Bend your knees. Maybe they've already been in a little bit of a bend. And then we'll lie back onto our backs for a supine twist, a lying down twist. Scoot your hips to the right. Let your knees drop to the left. You could decide to cross your right knee on top of your left knee for this twist. Then come to center and scoot your hips now to your left and let your knees drop to your right, and maybe it's your left leg crossed on top. And then bring yourself to center and step your feet as wide as your mat. Let your knees fall in on each other. Scoot one shoulder blade and then the other underneath you. Lift your hips just an inch. And then let them find the ground. And maybe this is where you stay for your Shavasana final meditation. Or extend one leg and then the other. Let your feet flop open. You can cover your body. Close your eyes. And then let yourself completely let go. You're welcome to stay here in Shavasana final meditation as long as you'd like. If you're ready, wiggle your fingers and toes. Carefully bend your knees into your chest and roll to either side. From your side, come up to a comfortable way to sit. Maybe cross-legged, maybe even in a chair. palms up or down on your thighs, on your lap. Really feel into this practice. Like I said, things happen because we're live. We lost one kind of music, but maybe we gained another. That inner music of grace, flexibility off our yoga mat. I'm Andrea. Thank you so much for practicing with me.